Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for round number 2 of the season, part 3 in total for the Bahrain Grand Prix, the new and improved nighttime Bahrain Grand Prix. If you guys missed episode 1 and episode 2 for the F2 and also the first race in Australia, then check out the episodes, guys, by clicking on the card in the top right hand corner of the screen. They'll be linked up there along with the full series playlist, and also there'll be links down below in the description, and you can do it however way you want to, but please watch those before any further spoilers if you haven't seen them yet and you're new to the channel, guys. But with that being said, let's jump into things here at Bahrain. Now, first of all, no rain expected on the weather forecast, which is good news, and we've also got an upgrade on the car for this race for the general maintenance. Now, we should have done that in Australia, to be honest with you, but I made a mistake, and we've got it on the car for this race. I should have done it before we even hit the track in Australia, and we could have saved on a little bit of wear on the car parts. But nonetheless, that upgrade is now on the car, and of course, it's not a performance upgrade, it's just a reliability upgrade, so no changes in the R&D graph, and we're still the best team, very close with Mercedes, of course, and Red Bull not too far behind, and yeah, we're going to see that might change in the coming races, and depends if the R&D points in the top right corner of the screen stack up. Now, for this one and this episode, we made a bit of a mistake because we're going to jump into practice, but I made a bit of a mistake in the sense that I did practice 1 to get a feel for it, and then I was meant to jump into practice 2, but for some reason, I don't know why, I just made a mistake and I jumped into qualifying after this. So we're not going to do barely any practice programs. All I done was the track acclimatization, and that's it. I just made a simple mistake. I don't know why I did it, and I was a little bit worried because Bahrain is a circuit that in last year's game I'd probably argue was the strongest track for the AR. They were so OP around here, and if it's a track where you're going to want to practice and put in lots of laps, it's this one. And I made the mistake of skipping the qualifying, so we're going to go in there with very little practice, literally 2 laps or 3 laps in the track acclimatization, an out lap, the actual R&D program lap, and also the in lap. So we're going to be very green going into Bahrain, and that was not the way I wanted to go into qualifying, so we're going to almost use qualifying as practice in a way. And I did do a few extra laps in qualifying just to get a feel for it. But nonetheless, let's focus on this session first of all, as we are here currently in daylight Bahrain, because of course FP1 takes place in the daytime, and then we'll transition later on into some nighttime conditions. And we're going to tackle practice, like I said, and see how the car feels. The good news is that I did manage to do a setup before I hit the circuit. So I did a setup. It felt pretty good already. It was something similar to what I was running in last year's game, and that's going to allow us to push. Now, as you can see here, we're hitting the track, and just getting a feel for it, seeing how the car works around here. And to be fair, even Bahrain, even in daylight, looks fantastic, to be honest with you. And it's still a pretty nice track to look at. But we'll see in a minute in the night time how it's a level above. But at the minute, you can see that we're tackling the practice programs, getting them purple gates, and just trying to make sure the car is all nicely hooked up and feeling good going to qualifying, you know, because I want to make sure everything's looking and feeling good going into that session, because the AI, I'm hoping, have been patched a little bit in this game, and they're not as quick on this track, because if they're as quick as last year, with the little practice we're going to have, we're going to be in big trouble. So hopefully it goes well nonetheless, and we can try and turn it around. So currently you can see here, it's coming towards the end of the lap now on the track acclimatization, and this was actually my in lap, I believe. And overall it was a pretty good one. We got the maximum score, which was good. So we are going to get some form of R&D points, along with a few other ones that you pick up from sector time, speed traps, and consistency. But overall, here we are then, and look at this nighttime Bahrain. You guys have seen it in the screenshots and in a few videos here and there, but this place is absolutely incredible lit up at night. Absolutely incredible. Visuals on point. There is Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, and also probably championship rival, to be honest. So we're going to be going head to head with him. But at the minute, here we are in Q1, and I did go out on the medium tyres before this, and I literally just done a couple of in and out laps. I didn't actually do a time lap, I just done a few in and out laps just to get a feel for it and feel comfortable with the car. And once I felt comfortable, I strapped on the soft tyres, and we absolutely went for it here. As you can see, currently on my first lap, the AI were quick around here, I've got to say. Even though when I done this lap, I could tell, like, they are quick. They're still pretty rapid around here. Not as quick as last year, I'd say, but still very quick. And currently you can see here through sector 2 now, 1.1 down, little lock up there on the right front as well. Very easy to lock up on this game, it has to be said. But currently we're doing okay at the minute. I don't want to drop too much time if I can avoid it. And let's see if we can have a strong end to the lap here as we go to the final corner. A little bit too early on the brakes there, giving the corner far too much respect. And then a bit of a tank stopper on the exit there, a little bit of oversteer kicking in as we open up DRS and up to the line. Let's see what the lap is, and it's just good enough for P15. So we're on the bubble here in Q1, and that was actually a pretty decent lap overall, to be honest. So we might be in trouble here. You can see here currently with about a minute 150 to go, I was actually on another lap. I did go back out on a fresh set of tyres, but I made a mistake and I've ruined my lap, so we're not going to be able to improve. And at the minute we're still P15, so this ain't going well. And the lap in itself, there wasn't a mistake, it was just not as fast. Like, I didn't find as much pace in my lap time, so I aborted on the lap. And we're going to wait and see now if it was enough. And it was enough just. We managed to scrape through and nobody else improved, luckily for us. So P15 for us in Q1. Very fortunate there because we made, not a mistake, like I said, just lots of little mistakes that amounted to us just losing lap time. And we just didn't hook it up as good as before. But now we're in Q2 here and we're on another set of soft tyres. We're going to see if we can try and set a decent lap here. On my first attempt, I believe this set was actually the one I used in my abandoned run in Q1, which I aborted. So this is a used set, so the pace wasn't as good as the fresh set, and it was definitely noticeable. We know the car wasn't working as well. It wasn't, traction as good. It wasn't braking. It wasn't turning as good. And across the line there, we do go P13, and it's okay, a pretty okay lap. Still over 2 seconds off the pace though, and we're gonna have to try and find some more time. So we're gonna jump on to my best lap of the session, and we're gonna see if it's good enough. 15 seconds to go, give or take, as we cross the line. And here we go, then we're going to give it all or nothing on this lap and try everything that we possibly can. And straight away, turn 1, braking at the 100 meter board, trying to find my apex there at T1. Nice and easy on the power here through turn 2. Use the curb on the right hand side through 3. Open up DRS down that new DRS zone on this straight. And now look for the brake point down towards turn 4. Brake just before the 50 meter board, just after the 100 more or less, in between the two of them. And then down a third gear for the rotation. Easy on the power on the exit. And so far so good. 2.5 tenths up as we go into the S section here through 5, 6, 7 and now down towards turn 8 at the hairpin here. Very easy to lock up into this one as we lock up a little bit on the right front, using first gear to get the rotation, then smooth on the power, a little bit too much aggression on my behalf there as we now go down towards 9 and then into turn 10 here. Big lock up on entry, but somehow we managed to rotate the car and not lose much time. We actually gained time on the Delta, and at the minute we're absolutely flying here. This is by far my best lap of the weekend so far, and we just really hooked it up so far. As we now go in towards this left, we just lock up there and miss the apex. First mistake of the lap there, losing about a tenth of a second, 2 tenths there by missing the apex, and now flat out through this uphill right as we go towards the end of sector 2, but we invalidate, we run wide, and the lap is gone. But we're still pushing on here just to see what the lap would have been, but that's a shame because this was such a good lap, and before that left-hander we made the mistake. The lap was perfect up until that point, and even now at the final corner here, we absolutely nailed it here. We got perfect traction on the exit, and we're going to improve by almost a second here. And in hindsight, it's annoying because that lap would have been good enough, and we would have got P10, and we would have got through to Q2. But unfortunately, we're going to only have our original lap to fall back on, which was on the used tyres. So yeah, overall disappointing. Only P14 in qualifying, but you can see there that lap would have been good enough for P10. We could have displaced Romain Grosjean. So really unfortunate for us, and not the way we wanted it to go, because in a weekend where I made a mistake by skipping practice and didn't have the pace, that would have been a really good result for us, and it would have been great. But overall, it's not too bad because we are going to get the free choice of tyre, which is critical around this circuit, and we're not going to run the soft, which is also good news. But with that being said, qualifying is done and dusted in the books. We're now going to move into the race for round number 3 for the Bahrain Grand Prix.
There's something in the Bahrain air tonight, and I'm not just talking about the sand. Our brightest minds have thrust their brightest ideas into the spotlight of the Sakhir circuit this evening as we look ahead once more to a Grand Prix that has thrilled us so consistently in the past. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakhir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Joining me for the Grand Prix once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about Martinez. No grip penalties, no mitigating circumstances, just a poor qualifying performance and a very disappointing start position for them today.
It's not a nice feeling, I promise you. They've got a quick car underneath them, but they've got onto the grid today and they need a pair of binoculars to see the start lights. They'll be desperate for a good start to make up for some of that deficit.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position and Devon Butler lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Weber, Max Verstappen and Perez, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Hülkenberg and Kevin Magnussen, Sainz, Norris, Lance Stroll, Martinez, Raikkonen, Kvyat, Alexander Albon and George Russell. Giovinazzi and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, then here we are on the grid for the Bahrain Grand Prix, round number 2 of the season, and we start way down in P14. A disappointing qualifying, and again in Bahrain, it seems like the AI are quite quick around here. To be fair though, on that very last lap, it took me a while, but I finally started to understand the car and how it works, and how to really extract more lap time out of it, and using the higher gears I think is going to be a really big key for us in this race. Now, in terms of the race in itself, we've got the favourable strategy of the medium hard on the car. So as you can see, we're going to run the recommended one, and we're going to avoid the softs in their entirety because the softs go off quite quickly around here. Also, fuel-wise, we are 1 to 2 laps over. You know, originally the game was sent to me to go to 32 laps, which is 3 laps more, but I'm going to go for 2 laps more, I think. I'm going to play it safe and be a little bit lighter. Hopefully we've got good pace in the mediums. I think if we have a good first in the mediums, we stay, you know, with the big boys as much as we can, and then go into the hards. I think we could have a good race, and I think points are going to be the target. I want to try and get 6th. I think that's a realistic target, 6th place. So just outside the big boys, but beating all the midfield teams, hopefully. So let's see how we get on then, and hopefully we can have a good race. So it's time for round 2 for the Bahrain Grand Prix here, the beautiful night in the desert. Let's jump into it. Here we go then. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights. Revs up to the sweet spot. Come on. Lights out and away we go. Not too bad of a start. Not my best one, but not too bad to say we're on the mediums. Down towards turn 1, then Kimi gets a jump on us. We're going to go for a bit of a lunge here down the inside of Norris and I believe Sergio Perez as well. On the outside of turn 2 now, up the hill for turn 3. We're going to get past Perez there. We're going to just squeeze him out. We've got the run on Norris here. We're going to go to the outside. Lots of space here, lots of opportunity to make a move. On the outside of signs as well, and there we go. Fantastic move up to P11. Good start from us. Already on the cusp of the points. K-Mag in front in the Haas. We're going to send one on the brakes down the inside of the Dane. Take the inside line, squeeze him off on the exit, and there we go. We're into the top 10. Good start from us on the slower tyres. Get it also down then. Let's have a look how we get on here. To study the AI's lines. I might struggle for pace early on here when it comes to being in the train with the AI. That's why I've got the extra fuel board. So hopefully, you know, we can beat a bit more on the straights and not be so vulnerable. And we need to try and adapt our driving style to shifting gears earlier, running the higher gears if we can afford it. But let's see how we do. So far, lap 1 is good. This race is going to require a lot more concentration than Australia, I think. Even though Australia was trickier to do the race for the first time on this game, this is a tricky race with the AI's difficulty, so we need to focus even more. At the minute, we're holding a good pace. I'm able to keep up, which is good. I'm having to work.
Entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
I'm having to work for it a little bit, but we are able to hold on. There's a Grosjean that has a look at Hulkenberg into turn 1. That's going to help me out. Any kind of battles from the AI will be a massive help in terms of me keeping pace. But at the minute we're looking good. Just looking at, we're keeping an eye on that full India up the road. That's the kind of reference point. As Grosjean and Hulkenberg continue to battle, the AI is so much more aggressive this year's game in terms of defending, and I really like it. They actually tried to defend the line. And side by side though, into these S's here, as Hulkenberg's just going to get in front of Grosjean there and stay in front as I'm trying to follow these guys. Good thing is we'll easily get the DRS. Hulkenberg won't have DRS, so he's going to be a bit of a sitting duck there.
Increase ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
Yeah, don't worry, Jeff. I'm saving that for whenever I need it, because I'm sure I will at some point. As we go into DRS for the first time this race, let's try and keep up with Grosjean and Hulkenberg if we can. They're going to keep on battling. We're going to tweak the brake bars as well. I'm going to go to 56 as Grosjean gets really aggressive, sending one down the inside there of Hulkenberg. They are doing a great job battling so far. Little screen freeze there, that's going to send me offline. I'm going to have to be careful, though. I'm going to have to get out of it, otherwise I'm going to pick up a track extension. Right then.
Okay, battery's looking good. You can use overtake to get past.
Indeed, I'm working on it, Jeff. There's battling in front as well, so here we go. This is my chance to make a couple of moves. These battles are what I live for. We had good straight line speed in Australia. What we like here in Bahrain, let's find out. Looks good at the minute. We're getting a huge run. Look at the speed difference here. We're going to fly past and power past both of them. On the inside line, we're going to take it nice and easy on the brakes and cover our position. And there we go. Another double overtake up into 8th place now. And we've got Ricciardo in front. I think he's battling a Toro Rosso or a Red Bull. I'm not sure. I think it's a Toro Rosso. I know it's actually a Red Bull. He's battling Max Verstappen. Wow, okay, so Verstappen's struggling for pace, it seems, early on. Either way, we're P8. Let's try and close in on that battle if we can.
To car in front is 1.6 seconds.
Verstappen is on those medium tyres, so that might explain his lack of pace. So for us, in terms of our race, it's important to get ahead of Verstappen as Verstappen runs wide there. Ricciardo is sending his former teammate very wide and saying, you know, thank you very much, but no thanks, as Ricciardo gets past his former teammate and former team. We're going to crank up the engine here into overtake, hot lap, and also rich mix for this end part of the lap. I want to try and keep up with Verstappen here and stay within his DRS. That'd be great in terms of helping me out and also putting the pressure on the Red Bull. If we can get ahead of Verstappen, I didn't see that coming. Race pace already much stronger than qualifying pace and practice pace, but if I can get past Verstappen, he's going to be on the same strategy as me, so it's important for us in terms of our race to beat him, and that would also help us out in terms of our top 6 chances. As I run deep into the final corner there, a little bit too much on the brakes, a little bit too ambitious. I'm going to be on the back foot here. Hulkenberg's behind me, but as we know, I've got good straight line speed here and I've got DRS, so we should be good to stay in front. So let's focus on Verstappen here. Okay, then it looks like Ricciardo's softs are just starting to fade a little bit now. Verstappen putting the pressure on big time. There you go, he's going to go to the inside of his former teammate. We're going to crank it up to hot lap mode. See if we can try and catch up. Ricciardo opens up the line. They're going into the final corner. They're going to be side by side, and here we go then. We're within range. We can do this again here. Let's use our straight line speed power to try and get past. Verstappen doesn't have DRS. He's defenseless.
Out to second the lap on the car behind.
We're going to try and go around the outside of Danny Rick into turn 1. A little bit sideways, but we're going to have a look. And yes, that's what I'm talking about. What a move. And we're going to get DRS as well, so we'll stay in front. Job done. Fantastic double overtake again there. And there we go, we're up at the P6. Only Perez now remains of those who are in the midfield. So we're having a great race so far. The race pace is much better. Like I said to you, I just managed to kind of understand how the car works around here. And overall as well for more pace, because we struggled in Australia as well. But I've just understood how the car works in that very last run that got invalidated in Q2. So it's good for us going into the race to know where the limits are. And at the minute, we're looking good here. P6 on the medium tyres. I'm not sure what tyres the rest of the big boys are running, but they're all on softs. We're looking good in this race. But at the minute, we're pulling away from Ricciardo here and we're leaving him behind. We're putting out a DRS, which is good, so let's try and shake him off if we can. There we go, we're well clear now. There's a huge battle behind. Look at that train. So many cars battling and also cars coming to the pit lane. This is why we've got the extra fuel. Let's try and close up with Sergio Perez now as much as we can. And try and cut that deficit down. Okay, Perez pits in. Let's see what other leaders have the softs on. And we've got, looks like, Hamilton. And that's also Webber as well. So we're up to P3, in for a podium position at the minute. And Lucas Webber and Lewis will have to go for at least a 2-stop strategy here. So they're going to have to basically catch me up on track to pass me. And at the minute, we're looking good for a podium. Butler is also on softs. All we don't know is Sebastian Vettel what tyres he's on, so we'll find out shortly, hopefully. But at the minute, we're looking good on these medium tyres here, and strategy is going to be so good for us if we keep this going with this pace.
Some information on Stroll. They're retiring from the race.
Okay, so Lance Stroll out in the Racing Point, the first retirement on the Grand Prix. That's a big lock up there, but we're still going to get the car rotated. Verstappen's starting to catch me again here, but that's okay. As long as we keep him out of DRS and try and make him work for it, that'll be okay. Okay, so Devon Butler pits in. What tyres is Seb on? He's on mediums. So there we go. Seb on the mediums, like myself and Verstappen. So if Seb's one-stopping, he's best placed to win this race. So let's hope that he does. And it's looking like another good race for us in red here today, if it all goes according to plan. Pace is consistent.
Lost some time to the car behind.
Yep, we are losing some time to Verstappen, and I was going to say that. Pace is consistent, but Verstappen is catching me a little bit. But that's okay though. We can keep behind. We did it in Australia. We'll do it again today. Crucial thing is we've got track position. We're P2. We've got the favourable one-stop strategy, so we're looking good. Personal best, sector 2. I'm just starting to find some more pace here, and like I said, I'm always discovering new things in the way the car drives. It's completely different to F1 2018 in many ways. The handling feels very similar, but the car drives very differently, if that makes sense. At the minute, I'm discovering that actually short shifting, and by short shifting I mean just shifting as the blue light comes on, actually is faster.
Approaching the pit window, you'll be on the hards.
We actually pulled away from Verstappen that lap, and instead of letting the revs run up to the max and let the lights just kind of flash, the car's actually quicker when you just let the car shift early. So If you look at my revs in the bottom right, I just kind of shift on the blue, and it seems to be much quicker. So quite interesting, to be fair, as we set a personal best. A little bit hot there, a bit of a poor lap from me. Verstappen's closed in. He's now within DRS, but he's still relatively far away, so we won't be too badly challenged as we approach our pit stop. Lap 12, I think we're coming in the next lap, so we're getting there. Also, Verstappen just pit in, I just realised. So he's going to try and undercut me, so we need to pick up the pace here because we're not even scheduled to pit in this lap.
Sebastian is in the pits.
There we go, Seb pits in. I'm on for a personal best here. Trying to respond and pick up my pace a bit. Let's have a look. There we go.
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
Yep, I'm on it, Jeff. Come on. One strong in lap here. Let's try and deliver. Oh, struggling on the tyres now, but still relatively...
Lap, but remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach.
Still relatively good pace. Here we go then. He does it through there. On the power. Come on. Then into the pit lane. It's not speedy if we can avoid it. There we go, that's a good entry. Right then, onto the hard tyres. Very strong first stint. Very, very strong. Better than I thought, to be honest. Come on, good start. Oh man, that was a bad getaway. Okay, so you can't spam the gear up button anymore, which is something new. So I'll note that one down for future races. We have to actually time it. We're going to come out in amongst a little bit of traffic here. I was watching the mini-map. Let's see where we are.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Okay, so Verstappen's lost a little bit of ground actually, as Grosjean tries to go around the outside. I'm going to try and close him off. But you can see Verstappen on the mini-map there behind us. So he is relatively close. Grosjean's got DRS here, so we're going to have to defend from the Haas. We've got both Renaults in front battling away. We're going to hold the inside line though, and keep Grosjean behind us. So we've got two cars splitting myself and Verstappen. So Verstappen lost time in that pit stop phase. He didn't manage to undercut me on the hard. So now we've got track position, we can try and pull away, because I know Verstappen's got a bit more pace than me, so this is a good chance for us to try and pull away. Hopefully we can get past both of these Renaults as well, and really establish a nice gap to Verstappen if possible. Okay, I'm going to use some overtake mode here, just to try and get within Ricciardo's DRS. Into the final corner, a little bit hot on the brakes, but we are going to crucially get DRS off of the Renault as the Toro Rosso peels off into the pit lane. So that's going to give us P8 in this race. So we're looking good for points here. Grosjean's behind as the Renaults start to do battle here. Let's try and close up on them. Hulkenberg doesn't have DRS. He will though for this second DRS zone as we head out of turn 2. Up through turn 3. Hulkenberg gets a poor exit though. Here we go. DRS, we've got it. We're going to go to the inside. Ricciardo's defenceless. I'm going to try and commit to this down the inside of the other Renault. Late on the brakes, but very wide. Side by side with Danny Rick. He's going to just get it. We're going to just sit back for now. We'll try and take him. Oh, we both lock up. I'm deep. Very close there. Hulkenberg back down the inside, but we're going to get the traction though. And Hulkenberg has to yield. Let's see if we can get a run on Ricciardo here. Not the best exit. Ricciardo should have, I think, just enough of a gap. Verstappen at the minute isn't catching us. As we make up ground on Ricciardo. We'll try and overtake Ricciardo on the pit straight, play it safe. So we're just going to try and cruise through here. And then we'll be in a comfortable P6 in clean air, which is what we want. Perez just up the road. Here we go then, through the double whites. Not too good through there, not the best amount of speed carried, but we'll close up on the straight on Ricciardo. Back in trying to come around there, had to really lock on the brakes, but here we go. Rich mix engaged, we're going to turn up the engine again here. Ricciardo's actually done a good job of trying to pull away as Hulkenberg pits in.
We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
Look at this, look at the speed difference. We've got Devon Butler, they're leaving the pit lane on the mediums, down the inside of Danny Rick, and we're going to take the position, there we go, and we're past Ricciardo. Devon Butler though gets ahead of us, so we've lost a little bit of time because we was ahead of Butler and Hamilton, so the Mercedes on the 2-stop have managed to get ahead of me, so unfortunately that's a little bit annoying. I can't help Sebastian out. We'll see what our pace is like compared to Devon Butler's pace, although him being on the mediums, it should be much quicker for him, but we'll try and keep up if we can. But at the minute, we are in a net P5. We saw Lucas Webber in the pit lane as well, so P5, I'll absolutely take this result.
Car ahead is coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead, now running medium tyres.
If we finish here, I'll more than take that. Although I do believe Perez is up the road, so there could be a P4 on the cards, actually, now I think about it. Because we're ahead of Verstappen, we're ahead of Webber. So yeah, Perez is up the road, I think. Let's have a look now. Yeah, there he is. So Perez, we still got to get past him as well. We could have a P4 this race from P14 on the grid, and having no pace in qualifying. That would be a great recovery. So let's try and get that position secured. There we go, Perez in the pit lane. We set a personal best, so we're now up to 4th place. Ricardo and Grosjean pit in as well. So Magnussen stays out. There's Lewis leaving the pit lane. So both of the Mercedes, unfortunately, have got the jump on us. Otherwise, we'd be P2. Good thing is, Sebastian's P1, and he's on the hards, presumably going to the end. So it's looking like a 1-4 for us, which is pretty good. Mercedes splitting both of us. But you know what? Like I said, considering where we started, I will take that. That's a good result for us. We've still got lots of laps in this race to go yet. So the Red Bulls could come alive. Lucas Webber, of course, he's on mediums as well. So he might catch me up still. So we need to keep pushing here. Race isn't over yet, but right now, we're sitting pretty in P4.
We're trailing our teammate by 21.6 seconds.
Okay, so Seb looks like he's quite a way out the front, which is good. Also, Magnussen just pit in, so it's going to be Verstappen now behind us in P5, although Lucas Webber's just passed him, so the Red Bull swap positions. I do wonder if Verstappen has a car problem, because he should have undercut me. I didn't get no radio message, but I think Verstappen might have he might have had a car problem. So Lucas Webber now, he's P5 behind us. He's our direct rival and our nearest competitor, my former teammate from last season, and he's on the fresh medium. So let's see what the gap is now in the first sector, and we'll try and judge it from there. So let's see, there we go, 8.9, and we've got 11 laps to go. Looks like we're going to have to try and pick up the pace a little bit, because I think Lucas might have more pace than me, at first at least. Still good pace, matching my personal best. Consistency is key here. Although Webber is much quicker than me. Gap down to 6.8 now, and we've still got 9 laps to go. Probably might catch me, but will he get past me? That's the question. Personal best, still pushing on. The last couple laps have been pretty consistent. And
the car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
There you go, there's the calculation for us. As I was about to say, it's around a second, so Webber is catching up a little bit, but the amount he's catching up each lap is reducing, because his tyres are fading and mine are staying the same, because obviously I'm on the hard, so I can go a lot better on these, and the car's getting lighter, so my pace is getting quicker. Another personal best, 32.4, I'm getting quicker and quicker here, and again I'm constantly understanding how to drive the car faster. I'm going to burn off my excess fuel here, and see if I can actually pull away from Webber a little bit and try and solidify this position. This pace is insane, I'm finding so much more speed all of a sudden. I'm going to be pushing 1 minute 31s, I think, at this rate. Let's find out. But using the high gears is making a huge difference to my driving. I'm finding more pace, and the car's getting faster and faster. Again, I'm just constantly learning. And across the line, 32.1.
Teammate ahead is 26.6 seconds.
That's good pace, and Webber now is barely catching me. Let's see how we get on though. We're closing into that last 5 lap stage. There we go then, our excess fuel is burnt off, so good job, we've had a good pace. Now we've got to try and keep Webber behind in standard engine mode. That lap was a bit slower, 0.3 off, but I was using standard engine mode. Lucas is still 2.8 behind me. A little bit hot here on the brakes, so I've got to be careful. Got a little bit too hot there. Luckily we're going to straighten up the car and get a good exit. 4 to go. First track extension there, got to be careful. 2 more with 3 laps to go. Okay then, I think Webber will have DRS on me for the first time. On the back straight, and there we go, he does have DRS, so with a lap to go, pretty much a lap and a bit. He's now within range. Just got to try and keep him at bay, drive smoothly, do our thing we've been doing all race. And I think I should have enough straight line speed to keep him behind, as Lewis sets the pace, and that's going to be an extra point for him in the championship. Wow, Lucas is really putting the pressure on here. I've got a little bit of DRS still, so I can definitely use that if I need it. This would be the biggest straight, the biggest challenge. If I survive this, I reckon I'll be okay. Out the final corner, Webber's right on my tail. We're going to have to use overtake, and look at that ratchet pulling away a little bit here.
This is your final lap.
Let's try and use it until we get to 20%, and then we'll turn it down. There we go. That'll be okay. Into turn 1, nice and easy. Now we've got to survive this DRS zone here. Come on. Good exit, good power down. There we go, look at the gap. Good acceleration there. We open up a nice healthy lead over Webber. One DRS zone remains. Let's make sure we get the car nicely sorted out before that. Oh, that's a big lock up. Turn it in, come on. Straighten her up. Rich mix, and there we go. That's enough of an exit. We had enough retards there to stay in front. I reckon we'll be okay now. Let's just make sure we make no mistakes. Vettel sets the fast lap, so he's going to get the extra point across the line. He wins the race here in Bahrain, setting the fastest lap right at the end, so 26 points for my teammate.
Our head is 16.9 seconds.
Or not, as Lewis snatches it right at the end. Meanwhile, Lucas Webber's going to try and have a look here, but we've got too much straight line speed, and we're going to be okay as we go into the final corner now. Nice and easy here, no mistakes, nice and smooth. Power down, rich mix to the line, and hot lap mode just to be safe. But here we go, P4 for us here today in Bahrain, a P3 in Australia.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
A good result for us in the first two races. Grazie ragazzi, forza Ferrari, grande lavoro.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. What do you think it was, Ant, that gave them the edge over the competition today?
Well, tyre management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
There wasn't much between you and Lucas by the finish today. You and Devon weren't far apart by the end of the race. How evenly matched are you? You were cutting your way through the field during the race. Appreciate your time.
Right, there we have the final race results then. Sebastian Vettel wins at Bahrain. Good result for us as a team. Good result for him in the Drivers' Championship. Lewis Hamilton just snatches the fastest lap and the extra point in P2. Devon Butler, P3. We come home P4. And if you look at the fastest lap difference, we've done really well to get P4 on the counter strategy with the one stop, because we didn't really have that much pace. It was much better in the race. I really understood how to work the car, the tyres and the gears in this race. And it showed compared to qualifying, but we were still not really on the pace. And I think in qualifying Q3, like P10 would have been like the maximum we could have done anyway. So I think we had a good weekend. I think we maximised the race, that's for sure, and that's what I'm happy with. We maximised the race in Australia, we maximised it here today, and hopefully the pace will start to arrive. In F1 2018, China was the first race where you could really find some pace. So I'm looking forward to that being the one, hopefully, where we find some pace in our car. But yeah, guys, that is it for the race results. In terms of the standings, though, let's have a look after that race. And you can see 2 races in, Sebastian Vettel, 2 wins to his name, and he leads the way, 12 points clear of Lewis Hamilton, and 23 points clear of myself. So he's looking pretty good. Devon Butler, my rival, up to P4 with that result after having car trouble in Australia. And overall, it's a 1-2 in terms of Mercedes and Ferrari in both the drivers and constructors. We're currently 18 points clear, though, of the Silver Arrows, which is good. So good progress there from us. Red Bull a bit further back behind, but I'm sure they'll pick up speed as the season goes on. But for us, that is it here at Australia, and now Bahrain is in the books as well, so we are done here in Bahrain. The question is, how will we get on in China in round number 3? We'll find out shortly. But if you guys did enjoy this video, then drop a like and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content, guys, and turn on notifications to not miss a single video from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them, guys. But other than that, thank you so much for watching this episode of Career Mode, and I'll see you on my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.